Welcome back to the NSP podcast. I'm your host, Mackolous. I'm here with 3D, Shay Monya, Trelly, and Renzo. And we have a special guest in the building. It's our family. My man Zoe's father.
Big dog himself.
Ray Roman.
Yes, Lord.
He's a philanthropist, entrepreneur, businessman. He's been around for a while. He has a lot of knowledge. And we welcome him here to the show.
Clap it up for that, dog.
On the topic of discussion today, we have guns versus books or hood smart versus street smart. But first, I will allow our guest, my man over here, to introduce himself and what he has going on and what he's done throughout the years. Talk to us, man.
Wow. All right, Nick, first of all, I appreciate the introduction. Man, I've done a lot. I don't know where to start at. You say street smarts versus...
Well, start on your professional side.
Talk about myself a little bit.
Let's talk about your professional side, and then we'll dive into all that other stuff when the questions and subtopics go.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, as y'all know, I've been involved in real estate for a number of years, off and on. But now it's, like 24/7. Real estate, is my basic focus. And getting involved with real estate, that kind of catapulted me into other things, other businesses, beauty salon, music, different things, but it all started out from real estate. So that's my foundation. I may sell cars or, y'all know I did a whole lot of other things. But, ain't a whole lot. I'm sure y'all gonna get some other stuff out of me as we go along.
Yeah. Business owner. Every goddamn business you could think of. That's what I call them. But so
man of many talents.
Yeah, a man of many talents. That's how I live, a natural born hustler. So that's how I would describe it. But overall, would you say real estate is like that became your professional background fully? Like you ain't starting over business before that, anything like that?
I say that's the one thing I enjoy, to be honest, besides hustling. In real estate, you have a before and after. So, to see a project when it's nothing, you turn it into something. So, you get to see the before and after. And then I always encourage us, our brothers, that, we're having real estate. My man, a perfect example, where we are today, you always got a roof over your head for your family. So, a lot of us don't realize it, but we all are involved in real estate one way or the other. Either you making money or you spending money. But one way or the other, you involved in real estate, daily. It's pretty much.
How long you been doing real estate again? Some people?
Oh, man. You can really tell my age. About 20, over 20 years.
Okay.
Over 20 years.
All right, that's what's up.
Yeah. It ain't all been, let's be clear though. It ain't all been, a smooth sales like anything else, right? Ups and downs go with it, right?
Part of life.
Yeah, so.
That's true. So, from your professional experience, what would you say is the difference between the hood and the street?
Free game.
How would you describe it?
Man, I'm old, so I just seen, I came up through the 70s, 80s, and to be in this internet world, it's a different world, it's a whole different world, like, because you can basically perform for the camera now. Like, you can be in a closed room and, sell death to somebody in a whole nother state, right? Or now you can be in a closed room and be intimate with a woman that's somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, this internet thing is just, it's good in some ways, but it's in destructive ways, things that go along with it. But
internet gangsters, right?
Yeah, like, when I grew up, we had what you call, like you said, a cell gangster. Like, a person that you indoors, you sell a lot of tickets. But once the door open, then it's a different scenario when you got to face whatever the reality is. But nowadays it's just different because, you know, I think internet, the hip hop era, it just changed things. Our music, you know, the way we looked at things was a lot different, man. You got guys on the internet now. The video is a handful of guns.
So that's what you feel like the definition of a street dude is now more like so than back in the day. A street dude was just a dude that kept it real in the streets and not on the internet and all that stuff, basically.
I mean, if you compare what we did back then to now, we was really in the streets. Like, not saying that these guys not in the streets, but we wasn't really like gang affiliated like it is now. Like you see a lot of, I guess you call it affiliation. I don't really, know the politics or whatever to that. But it was different. We just grew up in a neighborhood and we was homeboys. This was our neighborhood. Like now it's like this a hood where we represent it in a certain way and other people can't come to our hood. It wasn't like that when I grew up. We connected. Like I went everywhere. Guys from other places came to us and we, kind of moved like that. Like, but it's different. I think, to be honest, from what I've seen, the West Coast wave has came east, north, south with the gang stuff, and it's real prevalent. Like that stuff is big now.
Yeah,
when I grew up, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't like that. We just rolled together. It was, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So now this,
To branch the question out to y'all, like a hood dude versus street dude in our generation, how you describe a hood dude versus a street nigga, Any of y'all?
Biggest difference, I feel like the biggest difference with that is a hood is just somebody who I don't know how to say it, but hood dude, I guess, is probably somebody who's just there, rather who grew up in the hood. That was just circumstances, rather than somebody who you would call a street person, a street dude, street nigga, whatever you want to call them. They was actually in the streets, like doing what they was doing in the streets. Like you said, more intentional in putting your foot in the streets rather than you just being in the hood and that being your circumstances. Some people can't change that.
No, you're right. So that's why I was kind of piggybacking over that question when we was talking about with Day, like a hood dude versus a street dude, like what's more attractive to a woman? You feel what I'm saying? Remember we had that conversation, and she was saying the concept of feeling safe, but like, yeah, I feel like a hood dude
Just take all my answers.
No, my bad. No. I'm gonna try to, but I feel like a hood dude. When we think about the definition, I think a hood dude know where he come from. He got a backbone. He ain't scared to let people know where he from, but he ain't trying to flaunt a lifestyle that he don't really want. He trying to get out of a situation that that he in. That was just his predicament. That's how he was raised. But a street nigga is, of course, a person that's taking on that lifestyle, guns, violence, however you want to look at it. But to piggyback on what he said, I don't look at like just because you flaunting it on social media, you not a street nigga. Yeah. But you want to be a street nigga. You feel what I'm saying? Or you trying to be flashing your guns and trying to be all extra.
But those people, excuse me, those people are real easy to kind of weed out because just like he said, once like we call them internet gangsters, he said they call them cell gangsters or something. That's what you said. Yeah, so basically, once you inside, you can talk as much as you want, but as soon as that door open, you gotta prove it, and a lot of those dudes can't prove it.
But there's some gangsters, and I would say in this world, even though they do it on social media, they still let that thing.
Oh yeah,
let it go.
Like
that's what I'm saying.
I low-key feel like the baby is kind of like he will show you his guns. He will show you all them niggas that
but
he
he's still
will
gonna let it go,
and then he will jump you and shoot you with them guns.
So like that, but that's what he's saying. The difference between his era and this era.
But that's the thing, and that's
like they gotta not. I wouldn't even say some of them live in a facade, but they gotta show it now, heavy. Is that what you kind of was saying? Like they gotta put it on display.
I mean now now you got a lot of followers. Number one, right?
No,
but
that's fast.
If I had to differentiate, like y'all saying, a hood dude or a street dude, like a hood dude could be a dude that don't come out his neighborhood. Like you got a lot of guys that's locked to their neighborhood, right? Now street dudes I know could be from New York, Atlanta, or wherever. They move. They street dudes for real, and they gonna come in your city, right? So I'm just saying, like, that's the way I grew up. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go wherever. So I don't know if you call that a hood dude or a street dude, because I'm gonna come to your city. I mean,
so
like,
pretty much a hood dude, he would stay in his neighborhood.
You could categorize somebody like that as a hood dude, right?
Yeah,
right? Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? You got some guys that's gonna say, I'll come to your city. I don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm a street dude.
Yeah, like I don't really have no boundaries in terms of hood and street. Like I'm gonna go wherever.
Right. That's a fact. Right.
See, that's interesting because I remember like when I was in college, a lot of my friends were from New York, and a lot of them grew up like in the boroughs. So you either from like
hood. Yeah.
Harlem, you from
That's
one of these hoods. And we often used to have conversations because we went to school with like a lot of white kids. Like, it's like if you grew up in the hood, the rules apply everywhere. So no matter where we go, we know how to conduct ourselves because of what we grew up in our hood. Like, I'm from Baltimore, they from New York, but they can come from Harlem, I could come from out of here, and it's like,
you know not to do certain things.
I know not to do certain things.
Because
I know to mind my business and get with whoever I came to be with.
The streets is, I mean, people say it all the time. Of course, there are differences, but the streets are generally the same thing, no matter what city you go into. It's the same thing. Literally goes on pretty much.
In the hood, we got some unwritten rules. Like it's some things that you learn just the way we grow up, right?
Yeah.
So now they kind of go a little far with the stop snitching thing. But when we grew up, it was like an unwritten rule. You know, you just don't tell certain things, right? So that kind of carries from state to state in certain hoods, right? But in each state, it's only certain individuals that will cross that state line, right? So it's a difference because you got some people that like been in West Baltimore all their life, ain't never been nowhere, right? So would you consider him as a hood person? But then you got his brother that runs to New York, run to Atlanta, do whatever, LA, whatever, right? So then there's a difference. They come from the same place, but they move different, right? But see, now you got so much following going on with, you know, everybody following everybody. It's like they just move according to whoever say move. So I don't know what you call these guys. And then on the internet, now you tell them on the internet, you could say so much stuff to people on the internet. How you call them, hood or street? I don't really know what you
They call internet gangsters. Nah, that's great. But I had a question to you. Well, I want you to make a statement about it. Because you real passionate on why, especially in the black community, do we applaud a nigga picking up a gun versus a nigga picking up a book. You know, kind of give me your background, your education on how you got your, kind of explain that story, or, you know what I mean, which you kind of went from to, you know what I mean, how you reverted in a way.
Man, this it could be a long story with me. I'm gonna try to shorten it though, right? But like when you really come from nothing, when you really come from, you know, your parents using narcotics, and when you really come from, you know, walking through the alley and needles and stuff, right? And when you really come from poverty, whereas that's your norm, right? When you do acknowledge at some point you want better, right? When you realize, like, I want better than this, right? Then that's when the intellect kicks in as to, in order for me to get better, I gotta learn more. I can't be like everybody here, or I'm gonna end up here with everybody that's not educating themselves, right? So in saying all that, man, like going to prison, using drugs, hustling, and all the craziness, and then when you realize like how short life really is, and you see so many people leave you and die, or in prison or whatever, in our community, and all the abuse that we put ourselves through, as well as all the abuse that we put through, right? At some point, you kind of want more, and especially when you become a father and you have kids and family to be responsible for. So for me personally, I can't speak for nobody else, but being in street life, being shot, going to jail, all the craziness that go with growing up in the hood, really, you want to get away from that. Like at some point, as you get older, it's like enough of that. So you know, the young guys that I see today, I be like, man, y'all don't really know what y'all getting yourself into, because, you know, I know what it's like to be inside with somebody that's doing life. Like, I know what it's like to be with a young dude that don't realize what he got himself into until he in it. I got 2 sons right now, 35 years, 40 years. Y'all know it's real, right? So in saying that, like, you know, you gotta know what you want, how to get there, right? And what you doing. Whether if you gonna break law, know what you gonna get yourself into once that door closed, right? If you gonna shoot your guns, it's unfortunate because most of us, we killing each other. You know what I'm saying? So that's a saddening thing. Like, with y'all age now, there's nothing for them dudes to say, you know, we gonna kill, da-da-da, all that kind of craziness now. That's sad. Because we wiping each other out. For real, for real. You know what I'm saying? But now we done got so desensitized to it. Like, you can look at it on videos and all that stuff. You see that shit every day now.
So what y'all think though? Like, why our generation glorifies so much? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, is it just the tough act? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like me personally, I don't feel like I gotta be tough to nobody until, you know, my back against the wall. So like, attention.
A major part is attention. I think people
Social acceptance.
Yeah. They don't break it down into like foreshadowing their life in the future. Kind of like how you said, like, if you know that stuff get played out after a while. So they don't. I don't think they're not seeing the fact is that over time this will be not a beneficial thing to you versus going towards the higher education route. You go to college, 18, 19 or whatever, you got a better chance at being more successful later in life the younger that you start doing stuff, and that's more so where a lot of these people pulled in at a younger age. And then sometimes it does attribute to the lifestyle they have growing up. Like, it comes down to the household sometimes. Like, they might not have the support, and then they looking for support elsewhere.
Yeah, it's the thing that he said, like, environment is everything, but I don't know. When you see people that can get out of that environment and change their life, like, and in different ways and not always going the street way, like, I'm not stupid. We not naive. We know it's possible. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, that's why I just think when you're a product of your environment, I can't always say, like, you don't want to use that as an excuse all the time. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's people that do it in the same situation. But go ahead, cuz. I was here. You was about to say something.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, it's product of the environment is definitely a big situation, but it's a lot of the times, and we've seen it especially a lot more now with the social media era and stuff like that. What do you think makes these people, what makes these kids or whatever that are in these situations where, such as us, where our parents made sure we were put in these better situations to where as though we didn't have to go through the circumstances they did, yet these kids are still putting themselves in these circumstances because they want the attention or they want the cool points or whatever the case is. Why?
Well, I don't know, bro. I couldn't tell you why, but I can tell you one big point, and then going back to the internet, like, you can watch stuff on the internet now and feel like you a part of that just because you've seen it and you want to pick a side. Like, you can watch a beef in New York or Florida and be like, just because I listen to this rapper, now I feel like I'm a part of that. Like, oh, I got to make my claim about it. You don't know shit about what they got going on, bro. Like that's what be confusing to me.
This
like,
is not your fight.
This is not your fight, and you can jump into somebody's fight and be you a Young Boy fan, and you could be banging Young Boy gang just because you think it's cool, but whole time there's some real streets going behind it. Like, you really can get hurt about this, bro. Like, that just be killing me, dog. When it come to that side,
I don't get it at all.
Yeah.
But let me piggyback on what you said though, nigga. It just flashed something in my mind when you were saying about school not being really the choice nowadays, right? But this the crazy thing that most of us don't even realize, like, and I realized it when I was in the joint, right? When you go to college, you on the campus, right? You know, you go from one building to another on the college campus, right? Prison set up the same way, but except it's a fence around it, right? So what happens is, in a lot of cases is, most of us as followers get caught up in the midst of what's going on with their crews or whatever, hustling, however. But once you land there and get a certain amount of years, you realize, like, damn, I've been walking around on this same campus for 10 years. That's what Charlie got 18, 20 years in, right? And I realized in a short period of time, like, damn, literally, if you move this fence, it's just like a college campus. But the thing is, the decision making. You feel me? Like, y'all chose to go to school out here on your own, opposed to being forced into a situation to realize, like, damn, this is the same scenario for real. But except it's unrealistic environment because it's just men. Like, you don't have no women there or whatever like that. But when you think about it, same shit. You put a fence around Morgan right now, and it's just like a prison. Right. Or vice versa. You move the fence and the razor wires from a prison, you can turn it into a college campus.
Right. That's true. That's very much true. So let me ask you this. Growing up in your age that you grew up in, your time period, did you have the option of higher education, or was it like prominent in your era? Do you feel
Yeah,
like?
yeah. I ain't gonna say the options wasn't there. Like now, there's even more. But you know, it's a choice. Like you say, your environment has an effect on you. Like when you see people around you, the way they making their money is selling drugs or hustling or whatever. That shit is attractive. So you know, if you don't got nobody there saying you gonna carry your little ass to school, right? Real talk. So you end up in the corner store with some coke, whatever. You hustling, and there you go. It ain't hard. You feel me? It's a choice, and it's crazy you say that because
I was gonna ask you that.
I ain't go back to school till I was 30.
Yeah, that's what
I went to college at 30, my dude.
I was gonna ask you, did you have any mentors that like try to persuade you any other way? Like, you're not street?
Man, like, it's kind of crazy in our neighborhood. Y'all know it. It's like, it's rare that you got people that's really trying to influence you to do something positive.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You don't really have too many of them. And that's to go back to what we were saying a little earlier, right? Like, when I grew up, you know, people had faith, and you know this to be a fact. Every house you went in, there was a Bible somewhere. When you walked in, you saw it.
Yeah.
Your grandmother had a Bible somewhere. You feel me? So now we done got so detached from any sort of spirituality or religion that everything that's in the worldly life is attractive. You feel me? You ain't got no grandfather, no grandmother saying, boy, you ain't going out here and do this. You ain't going to do that. Where you been? That ain't no more. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, it goes to decision making, man. Like, you know, we know right and wrong, we know left and right. So at the end of the day, you gotta live with your decisions. And sometimes, I'm just say these young dudes, for real, the decisions y'all making ain't worth it, cause your life is over. This white, can I say that?
Yeah.
This white boy just was out my neighborhood 3-4 days ago. It was on the news, and we couldn't go in the house cause he barricaded himself in and shot the police. That was like on my block, right? But I'm saying, whether he white or black, boy 24 years old, right? And I'm saying to myself, Slim, you don't realize what you just did, man. You shot the police. You might get a little room because you white. And then I think he shot a second police or took the car, whatever, right? But my point is, like, you gonna be in prison for a long time, man. Like, them dudes that shot them kids in South Carolina, I was talking to my wife about this the other day. The young boy, I think they in Colorado, in the federal prison in Colorado, like where they put like Chapo in them at. Dude, like 19 or 20, you finished.
Done. That's it.
Level 5.
They gonna tell
You
you
finished.
he is done.
You finished. So, you know, I just be looking at y'all, like what y'all doing, being positive, trying to get a word out. But a lot of these jokers, man, yeah,
You
man.
know, it's funny, when I talk to my father, he oftentimes say, like, man, these young dudes in here, they are different. He like, listen, if I came home today or tomorrow, I ain't coming to nothing you got going on with nobody your age, because them niggas is crazy. I don't even want to be in the vicinity, because they mindsets is different. Like, the stuff you talk about, prioritize what you care about, what you standing for and meant to represent, it's not like what it used to be for that generation right there. Like, priorities is off. You want somebody to think you tough and bad so bad, you just threw your life away to get a name.
It's one thing one code I wish would have stayed alive was the no women and children policy, I'm guessing, for street
For
dudes.
real.
Because now, like, you just watched something the other day about
And your elders, because they getting grandparents real bad.
The lady getting killed with her
Two kids.
2 kids in the car, and all that shit. Like, that's
Old
crazy,
lady on the
bro.
bus in D.C. that them teenagers, like, basically jumped.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like back then, I think we kind of held each other more accountable in the streets.
Yeah.
Fact. Now it ain't.
You had respect a little bit.
Yeah, like, and if the other hood niggas found that out, they gonna beat your ass about it. You know what I'm saying, or do something about it. But you know, I don't think that's the way it is these days.
Man, these
Not at
niggas
all.
don't care about nothing.
Sure
Seriously.
That's crazy. So what would you say, Ray, made you get out of that lifestyle? What was the turning point you feel like for yourself?
Man, it's a number of things, Nick, to be honest, you know. When you look back on, you know, so much hurt, pain, negativity, when you had children, you know, you lose people. Like I say, man, you got a son doing 35 years, son doing 40 years. Like, at some point, you know, it hit home. You know, as you get older, like I always tell people, I've been 25 twice and some more. You feel me?
Right.
So when you look at it that way, you know, I'm half of 100. So I seen a lot. You feel me?
Indeed.
And then
That's an accomplishment in and of itself these days.
Getting that.
I'm
know.
so serious.
yeah, so it's a lot, man. Like when you talk about wanting to change, and then for me, to be honest, I want to practice what I preach. Like y'all doing this or me being here, this is putting my actions with my words. You feel me? So you can have older people or people say, let's help this kid or let's do this or let's do that, but don't put no action behind it. You feel me?
Right.
So my thing is, and I'm gonna say this to whoever in charge, a lot of times we be thriving off of power. So if you have some sort of power in whatever position, right, try to do something positive with it, because there's a lot of us that we had power, but we be just using it the wrong way.
Right.
You feel me? And I ain't gonna throw rappers in it and all that, right? But a lot of them got influence, and y'all see it every day. Like, they have 50, 100, 200 dudes that'll move when they say move, right? But the one thing I was saying to him is, so why can't we mix something positive in that, right? And possibly say, like some of them rappers, I don't throw names out there, that got all that influence, do some shit in your community. Buy them corner stores up. Get them some jobs, right? Like we doing in real life, right? So think on a positive note. But I was told this, man. If you want to change, you got to change the way you think.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well,
Well, I believe that wholeheartedly.
what made y'all not choose that route?
You know what's crazy? I was thinking the same thing.
What made y'all not want to
I was
choose
thinking
that
the
route?
same thing.
What made you not choose it, D?
Having people like him in my life.
That's a fact.
But no, they have to. Like,
I
having
think
people
when
like
you
him in my
got
life.
real OGs and real niggas around you, like real niggas around you,
Yeah,
like
like
they
having-
make you understand that you don't gotta live it to understand it. You feel what I'm saying? You don't got. We say all the time, you don't gotta touch the fire to know it's hot,
You
right?
sure don't.
Facts.
You don't gotta
I
touch
go
it.
watch somebody else get burned and learn not to touch it.
Exactly.
Living-
Well, I say it all the time because, like, I say it all the time. Like I said, having people like him in my life, like I said, like, and I thank God that I have an older brother because I think
Some
about
of the
all
mistakes he made. Right?
I think about all because I say it all the time. My brother took so many ass women, so I didn't have to get them. Like he
say
took
that
so
all the
many.
time too.
we all kind of say the same thing.
My brother took so many ass women, so I didn't have to get
But
them.
like, not even just ass whipping. Like, I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk, like, cause we been forgetting like his situation as well.
Yeah, I'm the youngest, so my brother been out of jail since I was 7.
You been in and out.
Yeah, in and out, so about 7, 6, 7. And I seen what it did to my grandmother. I seen what it was doing to my mother. I just seen what it was doing to everybody. But also, I didn't have a reason to live how he was living. Like I was brought up good. Like I ain't want for nothing. So why would I jump out of order just for what? You know what I'm saying? And plus, as we got older, Puerto Rico, Atlanta, like we was doing stuff. So it's like, why am I gonna mess this up being with a group of niggas all day?
Yeah, like,
23-hour lockdown.
I think that's. Oh my bad. Go
I
ahead.
like sleeping in my own bed. I like my freedom. Like, I like driving my own
fact.
car. I like doing what I want when I want it. So
Right.
it was
Yeah,
never
that's a
no
fact.
point in me. Like there was no reason to do anything out the ordinary. Plus, I already knew what it came with.
Exactly.
I already seen what it came with. So
Right.
And I think that's like
Doing that.
that was probably one of the biggest. I could probably speak for at least the three of us when I say that. Like that's probably one of the biggest reasons why we never even had the opportunity to step into that life or even try to, was because they always kept us so far away from it. It was always out of town here, out of town there. You gonna ride bikes here, you gonna do this there. Like we always was distracted and busy. And I think probably they did it intentionally, for real.
Yeah.
It's like you got too much idle time on your hands. That's when you
Devil's
can
playground.
exactly.
Yeah, and I want to give Big Dog his flowers because, I always give them to you, but I'm giving to you on camera, so that make it even better. But personally, man, like, what he's saying is real. Like, y'all, all the OGs, like, I would even, Uncle Howard, your father, and all of them, like, y'all personally kind of bred us to just know when and when not. You know what I mean? Choose right from wrong, know how to make them decisions.
Happy.
And understand it's a bigger world than what we see. You know what I mean? There's a lot out there, that we want to live for. Because being from Baltimore, this small compared to the world.
Very small. Everything 15 minutes apart.
Yeah,
20 minutes
man.
apart.
And, even like even being raised with dude like Tank, bro. Like, when I think about it, like, that man came from nothing. And he put his head in the ground and did what he had to do to get where he at now.
Mm-hmm.
Even all the bullshit we hear about him sometimes, we don't judge him because we know where he had to come from. Me personally, I don't. So, like, you know what I mean? He could have chose that route and been like one of the other boxers that, rest in peace to their soul, you know what I mean? That just wanted to be in and out, 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Mm-hmm.
But he stuck his head to the ground and kept it pushing. Like we always say, never stop.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Never stop pushing.
that's some real shit, man.
I'll say a weird thing that happened with me. Like, one of my cousins was kinda in the gang affiliated.
Oh, wow.
Aaron.
Oh, Aaron, wow. Oh, yeah,
Aaron.
yeah.
So then Wawa trickled over, and then like I was like more so cool with Wawa. So then that's kind of like how I felt like I was trickling over at one point, right? But I was young, so it wasn't like no heavy stuff, right?
Yeah, no, I
But
get
then
you.
like from Aaron dying and making it feel like it was like something gang affiliated, and then Wawa's passing also felt like it was something like in the mix there. That's what made me was just like, nah,
Yeah.
fuck all that
It's
shit.
not
I
worth
wasn't.
your life.
Yeah, it ain't worth your life because like back then I wasn't like really hanging around friends. I was just around family. So it was like more so family had the influence on me. And then like I remember one time I was in high school and I was just outside. I was a student, but I was wearing majority red.
Oh, yeah?
And then the police officer or security, whoever was there, kind of like pulled me up about it and was like, told me I had to change my clothes.
What
and
school you
shit.
went to?
Western Tech in Catonsville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
it's like up the hill. But it was just like
No shit.
at the moment it like offended me, and I was like, "Yeah, what the hell?"
Yeah.
And then some people knew like that I used to like wearing red. So then fast forward, I go to college, I see these dudes that I seen from my high school, and they was like, "Yo, you went to Western?" Dude with his shirt off. I'm like, "Nope." And I walked the fuck away because I'm like, I don't even need to be affiliated with y'all
sure
motherfuckers.
enough.
Like I ain't go there.
And that's another thing.
Me.
Like besides our
Smart
OGs,
decision.
yeah, besides our OGs, we did have some dumbass influences though that made us like, all right,
Yeah,
y'all
facts.
niggas getting like dumbass
Right.
influences, bro. Like
Right.
we love y'all to death, but y'all was doing some dumb shit, like,
Right.
and it just
See,
my bad.
then
Nah, I
for
thought you
me,
was
like
getting my
it wasn't ever an option for me. Like when I
PB
started
had that ass
getting-
a lot.
had that ass
But
a lot.
not listen, her, my grandma, my great, like I had no choice. Like they told me from when I was little, like no, you smart, you gonna go to school, like you gonna go to college. Like it was like I mean I grew up in the hood. You feel me? I knew to look like I knew what came from it, but it was like oh no, this ain't gonna be me.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry, like
yeah.
I ain't go to the same school as hardly none of my cousins. Like no,
Facts. That's the thing.
and then you figure 2 degrees later, it's like damn, they like yeah, they wasn't meant to be like everybody else around here.
No, I was going to say what D was saying earlier about how we used to like do things, have activities and shit like that, right?
Even the gym.
That yeah, see, like when I came up, even though we hustled, it was about like what we could do with us. Like we buy 4-wheelers or we do things so we could enjoy it with y'all, right? It wasn't like
1000%.
yeah, at first it was like just about us for clothes or cars and jewelry. But then as we start having kids, it was like, you know, what do we do to share with the kids? And even with Tank, that's how we, you know,
Yeah.
build a relationship.
People don't
because,
really know that.
yeah, it was
They
just
don't-
about what we do for the kids, right? It wasn't about no slick shit. It was just, you know, we got money. I knew the right thing to do when you got a heart is you always provide for the kids, point
Yeah.
blank. So I seen a video today, D, and y'all gonna probably remember this video too. They got a little kid on there throwing up gang signs, right? And I'm just saying this to say this to y'all and whoever looking. Whenever you saying something to these little kids nowadays, you have an effect on them. Sometimes we don't realize the little things we do or say have an effect on the kid, right? Because I had kids or people come back to me in the past and say, man, you know, you don't remember you told me this or you said that. And I totally forgot. But it was just something from the heart, right? But it was a decent effect or a good effect. So I'm just saying that, like, I watched this video this morning or earlier, and this little boy on there throwing up signs and shit. And I'm like, man, whoever y'all is teaching these kids that shit, man, that shit foul. I don't care where you from, you know what I mean, whatever set, whatever. That shit foul. You got them little 11, 10-year-old kids mixing that shit, and they don't know what their future gonna hold. You ain't even giving them a chance.
At the future.
You feel me? Like y'all had a chance. D, we take y'all 4-wheeling, horseback riding. you know, different shit, whatever, traveling. You know, so y'all got a chance to choose for yourselves. Y'all made it 18, 20 something years old, right? But think about it, man. Some of these little guys now, they following that shit. And they gonna be with y'all kids. Like you just said, they gonna go to school with your kids, Nick. You feel me? So y'all gotta realize what effect y'all passing down. Cause that's where a lot of gap come into play, generational gap, right? And we gotta break that shit. I be telling him that about his little brother. When I ain't around my dude, hold shorty down. He respect you. He listen to you. He watch you. You feel me? So y'all gotta pass that on. Real talk. We can't just think, oh, that's little cuz, that's little nephew, just push him over there. You gotta rock with him. Let them know what's real. Cause if you don't, they gonna step out there. Next thing you know, they doing that shit we don't understand, like sign language. You feel me? Yeah, that shit like sign language. I don't know what the, you know what I'm saying?
So, big homie, I know we gonna get a little deeper on this one because they wanted me to present you. I brought a question though, and a lot of people don't understand how I feel to be on that brink. You know what I mean? Where you potentially might be able to cross over to the other, you know, to the motherland or that other land. How did it feel to be on that edge? You know what I mean? That edge of death, sitting there. Like how personally, like, would you explain that to people? Like, and why not to try to make them decisions? Even though we've been breaking this down, like, how did that feel? Because I can explain it in my way because I didn't even know about it. You feel me? We don't know the audience, I had surgery recently. And to sit on that table, you know what I mean? And put your trust in a white man to operate on your body, and hopefully you come out still trooping. You know what I mean? That was different, you know. And I sat there and I cried before, but I had my support system around me.
Oh, yes, Lord, we cried.
And
Yeah. Whole different stage.
I had my support system around me, and I knew I had prayers around me to make sure I came out of there. And I'm trooping today, man. You know, I gained my weight back. Y'all can see it. I'm feeling healthy, so that's why I wanted to sit there and ask that question to you. How you feel from that, man?
You mean seeing you or me?
Well, you can answer both, but first you, cause you know we were just talking about it. So,
well, you know, I ain't saying this in no certain kind of way, but I've been shot more than once. So, so in saying that, the time that really seemed like I really was close to death was one time I got shot in the chest, and I was in the ambulance, and you know they put the lights down on you and they try and revive you and all that stuff, right? And literally, like that light over there y'all got, it's kind of like, you know, be flashing in your face. And that's one of the time when I said a prayer, like, you know, if you give me a chance to make it through this one, I'm gonna figure out what it is you keeping me here for, because, you know, the bright lights is like, you know, these lights can go off and it be over.
yeah.
You feel me? It be dark. But you know, that's, I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to really say, yeah, like how you, yeah. I remember being under them lights, you know, and like, yeah. But to talk about your situation real quick, I had faith because the operation you was going through, I had been through it. You know, I don't know, people don't know, but again, I've been shot a few times, so I had the colostomy bag, I've been cut. So when I saw your situation, I was trying to comfort you by letting you know, like, you're gonna get through this, you know, and then having faith, because in a situation like that, like, I can't be emotional and you be emotional. So, you know, we had to be your support system, but your situation always affect me more than my own situation, to be honest. Like, can I say what happened with school and shit? Yeah, well,
I
you know,
probably talked about it already. Trust me. Go ahead.
yeah, but that kind of, you know, that kind of shit bothered me more than my own shit. Like, when you got jumped and them guys, y'all was fighting them guys in school and shit, and I got the call like 1 a.m.
1:15.
Yeah, so you know that kind of shit.
Yo, I'm not the catalyst of all this shit. Don't try to look. I know it's all these stories over me, but I'm a good dude. I'm a good dude, y'all. But go ahead, my fault, big.
No. I'm just saying. I'm shortening it, but yeah, that really bothered me more than my situations, because I always felt like the stuff that I did, I was willing to man up to it, whatever the consequences would be. But when, you know, somebody hurt somebody that you love, it's like you ready to die for them. So, you know, your situation is always like different. I don't know, man. Like with the kids, period. Like, you know, I'm gonna die for them. I'm gonna lay my life on the line. Any of y'all in here, I'm gonna lay my life on the line for you. So it ain't no, you know what I'm saying?
Sure
It ain't no secret about that. But that death thing is something I hope none of y'all don't never had to witness.
Yeah.
Point blank.
Yeah, would you say that like triggered you to just start making better decisions, or would
No.
you say no? They ain't trigger that.
Not right away.
Just making better decisions, moving smarter.
Not right away.
Really?
Not right away. After I got shot, I still did a bunch of knucklehead stuff after that. But
At least you honest.
Yeah, at least y'all.
yeah, I'm just saying over the years, when you look back on all of that, right?
That's what you develop.
Now you got beautiful son, you got beautiful young family, you know what I'm saying? And you look back on all that, it's like if you growing mentally with age, if you really getting some sort of wisdom, you calculate all that stuff, right? So in my computer, it's a lot of shit to calculate, right? And if you calculating the good and the bad, man, I'd had so much bad, I don't want no more.
Facts.
I mean, at some point you got, you know what I'm saying, have a heart and like and be submissive to life, like learn how to live. That's what I told Pork Chop the other day. When he saw me at the funeral, he hollered at me. I said, man, I'm learning how to live.
Baltimore legend right there.
Real talk.
That's what's up.
You gotta learn how to live, man. Like, we be on some bullshit and we ain't really living.
I don't know.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
On this
Indeed.
Sunday. Well, Ray, we appreciate you for coming out, man. Do you want to say anything else to the youth or anybody out there that you want to give a special shout out to or anything?
Man, I appreciate y'all having me here for sure. I would say, you know, to the elders, first and foremost, like I said, you know, it's a big disconnect from us and the generations under us. And we need to fix that with some positive enforcement. And then as the generations go down, I mean, because it's hard now, it's tough, man. And I'll say this real quick. It was said that statistics showing that, you know, the black men, young black men, becoming extinct, right? And the way the system's set up now is it's set up so we killing each other. They don't have to really kill us. They just design it and we following it through. So in saying that, right, all these guys that's, you know, want to be street guys and into this, whatever they into, you know, the streets or whatever, man, reevaluate what you're doing, because really nowadays gangster is getting in the book. You feel me? Gangster is the dude with the apron on at the barbecue or the cookout. You feel me? Gangster ain't doing 35 and 40 years. I got 2 sons and a cousin that's calling me Colette, right? And I'm kind of tired of it. So for real, I mean, just, you know what I mean? Like y'all.
No, that's the realest you can say. I'm like, kind of tired of it.
Yeah, man. Like, so that's all. I'm just saying, man. Like, we need to get some positive reinforcement in our community. And I'm gonna say this last, Nick, because I wanted to shout out to this boy, what's his name, Charleston White. Like, not on some. That's what they say though. That's what they say, right?
Oh.
Not on some shit like I really rock with him, but I do like to see somebody that's going against the grain as far as all the negativity. Like, I ain't into the snitching stuff. Like, that's not where I'm from, right? And I ain't saying I agree with, you know, everything. But I will say, I wish there's more people that would come to the forefront to go against the grain, because you got a lot of these dudes with a lot of influence that if they went against the grain a little bit, you know what I'm saying, we have halfway decent communities. Do Nipsey. Somebody, we need some more Nipseys. You feel me? Or, you know what I mean, some guys that really, really, really want to make a difference in their community. Don't nobody really care no more. Everybody want to put their rags and their guns in, you know what I'm saying? That's all I want to say. I said a lot.
You did good though.
It was amazing. Hell yeah, it was, man. That was lit.
Anybody else got anything? Y'all good?
Anybody else? Nah, I'm good, man.
All right.
He
Like that.
put on for himself. That was
Audience, tell us out there. What do you think? Guns versus books. Hood dude versus street dude. Tell us your thoughts Thank you for coming, Ray. We appreciate
My
you.
pleasure, man.
always.
You know that.
Love
For
to have
real.
you again, of course.
Yeah. Father's Day shoot this time. Always shoot this time.
And always remember out there, audience, to like, comment, and
And tell a friend to tell a friend.
for sure, Baby D, take us out with the song today,
Today
baby.
we got Shot Glizzy, I'm on fire.
Oh, that's my shit.
I could have been a lawyer or
or
a
a
doctor.
doctor.
I said, fuck it, I need moolah.
I'm a robber.
Ain't gonna be shit when you grow up,
Shout
use
out
a
DC.
liar.
Yeah, shout out DC, man. That's a classic.